Hey guys, this is my first YouTube video. It's pretty much just around trading, and this is going to be a trade recap of my trade last night, which ended up being a win, luckily, and it was about a 1 to 6. Pretty much, I am a supply and demand trader, so all that means is I take my trades off of zones along with a few other confluences that I like to use in order to give me a bit more conviction before opening up a market position. All that means is with a demand zone, I'm looking to go long. Supply zone, obviously looking to go short. So all I'm going to do is bring you guys my whole thought process throughout this trade last night to, hopefully teach you guys a few things. Anyways, so if we come back, we're looking at Asia. As you can see on the 5 minute, we did get that closure below. However, when you scale up to the 15-minute time frame, we didn't get any closure. It sort of swept and rejected. As we start to go on after this little sweep, it starts to obviously push back up. From this push up, we get my demand zone here. I'll try and draw everything out fresh for you guys. We get my demand zone. This is eventually what I'll end up taking. Eventually, how I'll be taking my trade. So all I do, draw a little box, pull it out, and to actually confirm a demand zone, I need a break of structure and a fair value gap within it. So obviously you could use this break of structure. It's really internal, but this is the move that actually, the leg that created my zone. But you could go up and use something like this, or as you'll see, it'll start to come up and actually come above and close above these Asia highs. This gave me my confluence into the longs. So some people might look at this and you might think short, right? Because obviously we didn't sweep Asia on the 5 minute. We came down, took Asia, and closed below. Some people might think this means it's confluence for short or whatever. Personally, just go up into the 15-minute time frame because you can see here didn't close below that. Like, this is showing quite clear bullish order flow. Regardless, moving into it, I'll show you a few other things that I like to look for. So as we come back down, this is one of my other confluences that I like to use a lot. We created a little bit of liquidity slash inducement. All that means is that we had a leg down towards our zone. However, we didn't quite touch the zone yet on either the 15, 30 minute or 5 minute. No zone was touched. You can see here. So you've got a 15-minute zone, wasn't even touched, refined or non-refined zone. 30-minute, also not touched. It just left the leg down. But coming back into the 5 minute, it just looks a lot cleaner. This is usually where I'm taking my entries from. All this little leg is doing is leaving more liquidity slash inducement and resting orders to be collected before entering us into our position. I feel like this is a very common thing people stuff up, specifically supply and demand traders. I'm not really a fan of taking a zone unless I can see this. This is a major confirmation for me. If I don't see any of this liquidity left behind, so a sort of fake out, you could say, I'm not going to be taking a trade. But regardless, moving on. So by now I've got all the conviction I really need. Move stop loss here. Sometimes I do like moving stop loss to protected lows here, but simply because price rejected this area so much off of the 15-minute, 30-minute, etc., I don't really want to have my stop loss sat there because it's just leaving a lot of R&R on the table. So as you can see, obviously just put it below these lows, give it a bit of breathing room, so just in case you're accounting for spreads with whatever prop firm you're trading with. I personally trade with FTMO, but regardless, as we start to move along, we're coming up. I had an alert set here, really. I wasn't just glued to the screen watching. I had an alert set. I was at the gym, but regardless, you can still watch this. I do like watching my trades a lot. Anyways, coming into the trade, I started looking for where I want to put my take profit. So, as you can see here, we have a supply zone. These are very common targets that you'll see me using, like, in the future. Like, yeah, you could target the bodies of the highs or maybe London highs or something like that, but there's just not enough liquidity here. And something else that I had a little bit against me is when we come into the higher time frames, we've just rejected from this daily fair value gap. I know this was a huge move that GU presented itself, but we had literally just entered and respected this fair value gap on the higher time frame. So I wasn't too confident with pulling the take profit, obviously going for a huge RR, but it was a 1 to 6 regardless, still nice return. But this is just always a safe bet. Rather than going for those highs, specifically the wicks, I see a lot of people missing their take profits when they're putting their TPs up on top of the wicks. If you put them up on top of the wicks, don't get me wrong, it's really good sometimes, but you just need to know the market. Like, clearly we've rejected this top area. That's why there's wicks left usually. If anything, go for bodies, guys, just for in future, because that's where price decided it wanted to close rather than coming up into this area, rejecting it, and leaving a wick. Personally, I go for different zones. So supply zone, I find myself really comfortable taking a trade off of that. But anyways, as you can see here, price starts coming down. I'll try to label this for you guys as well. So a break of structure, inducement over here, and we have a demand zone. So pretty much waiting. By now I'm on the chart looking because I got the alert after it just had tapped past here. I'm on the chart on my phone looking. Price comes down, instantly wicks us in and reverses. This is another thing that you like to look for. When in a position, after you have been tapped in, you want to see a strong rejection from this area. So you want that 5, 15, whatever minute time frame you're taking this trade off of, you need it to reject off of the zone. If I say, so for instance, if I say price come down, and instead of leaving this wick and flipping incredibly bullish, and it closes within the zone, I would pull from the trade. So yeah, you could say I could like refine my rules a little bit more and not enter straight off of the zone. Instead, take entry off of the bullish flip, for example, taking it here, moving stop loss to these lows, and then bringing it back up. Yes, you could say that is a lot safer. However, I do like, specifically with this trade here, I had a lot of conviction going into it. Confluences, everything was hitting out. Like, we got the rejection off of the Asia lows on the higher time frame. 5 minutes not showing it too clear, but I explained it later. We've got a break of structure both internally here from the leg down that created the zone, and also up here on this, also internal, but then Asia highs got broken as well on all the time frames that I usually use. I'm only really trading off of my entries primarily 5 minute, but I do like 15, 30 you will see in my other trade recaps and backtesting videos that I'll start uploading. But regardless, back to the main point, you really want to see that bullish flip or bearish, depending whether you're in longs or shorts. You need that flip from your zone. You can't be having no closure. Like, you cannot have a closure within this box. Candle cannot close within. Anyways, like, I'll try and slow it down, just go 1x speed. It starts coming, right? Obviously, this is really strong, and then we copped this. This is very unusual, to be honest, and also why I say target bodies or zones. You targeted the wick. Oh no, you've missed it, and now you're stopped at break even. No one wants that. Target zones, guys. Zones, zones, zones. Be safe. But regardless, this was just like I'm not even sure where this volume came from. Obviously, we had news last night, but we're nowhere near New York Open. New York Open is the next candle, and this happened about 15 minutes before. That's another one of my rules that I will go over quickly. I am not taking trades until after 30 minutes into London. So within pretty much this whole time frame from, obviously, I'm from Sydney, so from 5 o'clock open, I will not enter a trade till about 5:30. That's just my rules to stay away from all the volume. And as well as this, going into New York, I will not trade, or sorry, open a position 15 minutes before or 15 minutes after New York. Like, this just really shows it so well. You can see here, the trade got wicked. Obviously, my TP got hit, which I'm grateful for, but that was on the 10:15 candle. We got New York Open at 10:30 here in Sydney. Well, 11:30 is actually market open, which would be 9:30 in New York, but pre-market here is 10:30. So the 10:15 candle towards the 10:45 candle, I will not be trading. I will not be opening a position because as you can see here, this type of volume comes in. I was also I was potentially looking at a short from here, but I just didn't have it was within that 15-minute range. Like yeah, it would have played out in my favor sometimes. Well, sorry, this time, but other times you just won't get it to play out in your favor. It's as simple as that. Like I could enter a trade here 15 minutes before and oh yeah, I got a win because I'm targeting these bodies here, a little 1 to 6, but the next time you don't know what this volume's going to put. Boom, stop loss, back down. Like you just can't really have that conviction due to how do I say it? Due to this volume coming in, like no one really knows where the market is going to go. Trading is calculated risk. It's based off of what you know in the market, the experience you have, and from my experience, trading in times like this is stupid. Like you just get this random amount of volume that comes in and you don't know what to do with it. No one knows what to do with it. Same with trading news. But regardless, yeah. This was my trade last night. It was nice. Little 1 to 6. Can't complain. And yeah, I'll be making a ton more videos for you guys, so just obviously comment what you want to see, but I'm pretty much just explaining my trading strategy, the experience that I've had in the market, and that's primarily it. So you guys will get trade recaps, backtesting videos, and stuff like that. But this was yesterday's 1 to 6. I'm fairly proud of it. It was nice, but hopefully we trade better.